Hello everyone and welcome to a new video dedicated to our beloved Snoopy and the world of Peanuts. Today we will look at a strip from November 7th, 1950, one of the first to highlight the dynamic between Charlie Brown and Snoopy. In these first strips, the relationship between the two characters is not yet as well defined as the one we know today, but already elements emerge that will characterize their relationship, subtle humor and ironic situations. What happens in this strip? Charlie Brown tries to assert his authority, but the situation takes a very unexpected turn. And this is one of the first times we see Snoopy responding indirectly to Charlie Brown's words, something that will become a recurring theme in later strips. Let's get ready for a journey into the early dynamics between Charlie Brown and Snoopy and discover how Schulz manages to pack so much into just 4 vignettes. This strip is a little gem of comedy and gives us the perfect opportunity to explore not only the characters, but also the context in which Charles Schulz was working in the early years of Peanuts. Get ready to discover trivia, references, and insights that will make this strip even more fascinating. In the first vignette, Charlie Brown stands before Snoopy, who is sitting in a chair, calm and composed. Charlie is visibly frustrated and struggles to assert his authority. The phrase, "Don't you seem to understand that I am the leader in this house," reveals Charlie's attempt to assert himself, not only over Snoopy, but probably in his daily life as well. Snoopy seems to look at him perplexed. Fact: in the early years, Charlie Brown was often portrayed as a more assertive, almost authoritarian character in some situations. This contrasts with his later image, that of an insecure and reflective boy, continually defeated by life. In the second vignette, Charlie Brown insists, "What I say is done. Got it?" Here we see the typical emphasis of a child trying to demonstrate a confidence he may not really possess. Snoopy, on the other hand, remains impassive, suggesting that he does not take Charlie's speech seriously. Anecdote: Charles Schulz was a great observer of human interactions and, in particular, of the relationships between children and pets. This scene reflects the reality of many pet owners. We often delude ourselves that we are in control, while our four-legged friends live by their own rules. In the third vignette, a voiceover interrupts Charlie Brown's speech, calling him by name. The shout, "Charlie, Charlie Brown," sounds like an authoritative call, probably from his mother. This completely reverses the situation. Charlie, who moments before proclaimed himself the boss, is called to order by an outside figure. Reference: in the Peanuts, adults are almost always absent or represented indirectly. In these first strips, Schulz sometimes used their voices, but he would later eliminate them almost entirely, making room exclusively for the world of children and animals. In the fourth vignette, Charlie Brown turns to the voice, visibly embarrassed, and walks away, saying, "Excuse me, I think that's my mother." Snoopy, meanwhile, with a satisfied smirk, remains seated in the chair, still and quiet, as if to emphasize how obvious it is that Charlie Brown is not really the boss in the house, thus reaffirming his implied superiority in the situation. Interesting detail: this scene is one of the earliest examples of Snoopy's role as a silent observer, a trait that would become key over the years. Snoopy does not need to do anything to win the confrontation. The world simply seems to turn in his favor. Insights and trivia: the relationship between Charlie Brown and Snoopy. In these early strips, Snoopy appears more like a realistic dog, but already we get a glimpse of his role as an ironic counterpoint to Charlie Brown. As time goes on, their relationship will evolve. Snoopy will become increasingly independent and imaginative, while Charlie will often remain the target of his antics. The absence of adults in the Peanuts. One of the most iconic features of the Peanuts is the total absence of visible adult figures. Schulz wanted to create a world that was completely child-centered, where their emotions, thoughts, and interactions took center stage. However, in these early strips, adults are present through vocal calls, as we see here with Charlie Brown's mother. Snoopy and the chair. Interestingly, Snoopy is often depicted sitting on a chair in the early strips. This detail might seem insignificant, but it helps create an image of Snoopy as a character who observes the world from a slightly superior position, both literally and metaphorically. The theme of authority. This strip reflects the recurring theme of authority and hierarchy. Charlie Brown tries to assert his control, but ends up being put in his place by both Snoopy and his mother. It is a perfect example of the kind of humor Schulz adored, simple, yet deeply ironic and universal. The November 7th, 1950 strip is a classic example of Charles Schulz's subtle and clever humor. In just 4 vignettes, he manages to tell a funny story, build the dynamic between the characters, and offer a reflection on authority and relationships. Have you ever had a moment when your pet seemed to be the real boss of the house? Tell us about it in the comments.
If you enjoyed yourself, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and activate the little bell to stay updated, and see you next, friends.